What's fucking good in the hood, Anime Central? You've tuned in to the one, the only Weeaboo Corner. In fact, I would argue that this is the best corner in 2021. Today, we are talking about fantasy slice of life and making out with aliens. That's correct. We are going into the top 10 worlds you really wish you could be isekai'd to, starting with school days, where every girl has less brain cells than I do with GCSEs, cause all they think about is getting piped. The next would probably be Naruto, because everyone gets to be a fucking ninja. I think this is very self-explanatory. Following that would be Pokemon, followed by Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is a world where it's not only acceptable to be a fucking nerd, but it actually makes you a better character. Then we have Digimon, where your companion can either be a robot, a dinosaur, have titties, or all of the above. We're going to go into next big detail into this one, as we are actually reviewing a very good boy. Somali and the Forest Spirit is a world entirely composed of spirits, goblins, monsters, and all crazy types of creatures. The human race? What about the human race? They got eradicated to the point of extinction, except one day, a golem meets a teeny tiny human girl. This story follows the pair as they journey in search of a human race that can look after the girl. A story about their connection as a father and daughter. That's correct. This is the episode of Mori where he admits he's the father. We journey alongside the golem and Somali, as I am going to say golem and golem like it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just, just don't question it. So, we travel alongside the Golem and Somali as they take us through cities, landscapes, entire damn civilizations of purely unfiltered creativity. The world building in this show is absolutely phenomenal, rivaling even that of Maiden Abyss, giving us a whole damn world of full fucking history, cultures, stories about the past, experiences. We walk alongside narrators as they guide us through the world in front of us, and it truly makes for a fantastic hand-holding, beautiful experience. The bond between Somali and the golem is something that I've never really seen before. What we have is a 6-year-old girl full of life and energy, and this golem that is basically fucking falling apart at the seams. Honestly, this emotionless, rigid, set in his programming golem, let's just say golem works. We have this emotionless, rigid, set in his programming golem that has to keep up. He has to be a teacher, a mentor, a father figure, protector, and now he's straight up the guardian. Let's just shorten all that and call him the guardian, okay? He's a golem, he's a guardian. This show is good. The characters in the show are plain and simple great. I liked a vast amount of them. The tiny demon, his demon assistant, and that's about it. I mean, the harpy girl is really, really interesting. I like her design. I like her character. Everyone goes through this like resolve thing. It's so good. I suppose I could like Somali, but if you know me and anime kids, the main motto is fuck them kids. We get that shit out of here. Show me some titties, baby. Yes. Woo! Woo-hoo! Yes. But on a real note, Somali actually became a very valued character in the show, despite the fact that she's literally 6 years old. She really shined as a character that I would want to protect and keep safe in a fatherly sort of way. She learns very quickly and understands when to behave and misbehave. She is surprisingly a real smart kid, and that definitely adds to the story even more since she's a kid. She does what children are most known for, and she asks questions one after another every day. She asks as many questions as possible, as if we are the ones doing it. It is such fantastic world building. I could never stress this more. Now, do we have a final awakening? Yes, but I can't spoil anything major about the show, so I'll leave it at that. What I will say is, what happens when someone finds out that Somali is a human? The human race is rumoured not only to be extinct, but absolutely hated by the variants of the world around us. So what happens when someone does find out? That's a good question. Seeing the world through the eyes of a literal 6-year-old child in this world full of variants, we see a lot of things from a beautiful perspective. Holding the golem's hand as we look up at him. The way that the monsters look at you is super heartwarming. We get so many different feelings from the way that we see the world, up until somebody notices seeing the innermost darkness of the world in this anime is truly like the most insane thing. It gives us the most drastic change in mood since the last episode of School Days. The worst part about the darkness is the perspective that is seen in. The way that they smile as they look down on you. You could see the murderous intent in their eyes, the crazy face all around us, and we are the prey, and it is fucking brilliant. It rivals like the first well, you could say that the entire series, the whole episode is like a really elongated version of the first episode of The Promised Neverland, if that makes sense. I suppose another thing I could talk about is the music, because the music is very, very beautiful. Also in comparison to Made in Abyss, where we get these fantastic orchestral pieces that really beautify the world around us, creating this surreal experience for literally anyone to step into and just feel magical. Be it the characters, the animation, the art style, the beautiful choreography of it all, there's definitely something for everyone here. Even the slightest bit of comedy too, if you can consider it comedy. With all of that now, I am going to give Somali and the Forest Spirit an 8 out of 10. No one asked for it, but here we are. Date Alive is about fucking espers and making out with sisters. Here we are. We finally got back to incest. How long did it take? How long until the next one? Who knows? You'll have to find out. Here's the premise. 30 years ago, the entire continent of Eurasia was taken off of the map by a thing called a spatial quake, which is basically a whole-ass black hole combined with an almighty pushing kilometers that killed over 150 million people. Ever since then, spatial quakes just happen, and the world just adapts to them, because obviously that's what you do with life-threatening black holes that just straight up happen on a regular basis. You just get used to it. Nice. We follow Shido Itsuka, who is a very average stand-in character who lives with a little sister, who has white ribbons in her hair and is absolutely not related to him by blood, who makes a lot of promises to be next to him forever, cause that's what sisters who are not related by blood do. In the midst of the spatial quake, Itsuka fucking straight up runs directly into it, cause that's where his sister who isn't related by blood is, and he would do literally anything. Literally anything? Literally anything to be close to his sister. Very nice. So in the midst of this quake is a girl. A girl, you ask? Is this getting old? It's a girl, and she's kinda cute. No lie. The problem is that she's kinda dense and definitely on the defensive. You know what they say, can't spell defensive without dense. The main issue is that upon protecting this quake girl, man gets ambushed by what they call the anti-spirit team, a team based on destroying the spirits, which makes sense, since these quake girls are spirits that have actually caused more harm than good. As of yet, now, in a normal world, these people would be considered the good guys. But that's where you're wrong, cause this is anime. Roll through this new team called Ratatoska, a team that fully believes in saving the spirits, all commanded by Shido's little sister, who has black ribbons in her hair and is absolutely not related to him by blood, that recruits Shido on the spot and trains him in the art of dating with a visual novel dating simulator. That's correct, we have to stop the girl spirits by dating them. So, already, I have to openly point out that this is clearly satirical and should be reviewed as such, and not as if it is Attack on Titan or something. The world is clearly in the hands of this degenerate team of people who have never seen a vagina, and now the fate of humanity is more or less in the hands of this one random guy with his little sister who usually has black or white ribbons in her hair and is absolutely not related to him by blood. Fortunately for us though, we also have a fair assortment of lovable characters in this, and by characters, I mean girls that are contenders in this spirit version of The Bachelor. We have Origami, the show bitch white bob cut girl who wants nothing more than to be Shido's one and only, since she is actually his first girlfriend. We also have Toka, the first spirit and the worst of them all. Yoshino, the lolly who has absolutely no place being there. Kurumi, even worse than worst girl Toka because she is absolute trash. And then we have Kotori, who you might know as Shido's little sister, usually wearing ribbons, who is absolutely not related to him by blood. So, now, as some harem anime really like to let characters settle in with their new girlfriends for about an episode or two, Date Alive really skips that waiting bullshit and throws in spirit after spirit after spirit after spirit with absolutely no break in between. Sure, there's sometimes dates, but they're usually in collaboration with espionage in relation to a new spirit. Every time Shido has to fuck one of these spirits, he has his little sister in his ear telling him exactly what to say. Fortunately for her though, she has a team of degenerates with all different types of kinks and humans that can vote on basically all the decisions for him, making Shido say either the worst or the best type of shit in a multi-choice dating simulator style girl pickup routine. What I'm saying is the show is fucking brilliant. A couple notes I have to inform you of before we go any further. Origami is clearly best girl. I just have to lay that down on the table, let y'all sink that in. Origami is just fantastic. Toka has the most amazing absolute territory I've ever seen, and it blows my mind. Origami gets absolutely taken for granted. The OP is absolutely the theme music you want when you're trying to fuck as many aliens as possible, and there's no beach episode. But the swimsuits are pretty good. So the main verdict of the show is that it's definitely for someone. It really is. Where harems like Monster Musume and Super Hexeros like to end it at a very comfortable 12 or so episodes, Day Alive actually slaps us clear across the face with a stunning 4 seasons of making out with spirits, baby! Woohoo! Yes! What more did we need? Honestly, the comedy is absolutely something entertaining, but the only character I ever felt somewhat bad for was Origami, who truly got done the dirtiest. The harem situation in the show gets bigger and bigger as Shido's team of titties gets bigger every 3 or so episodes. Actually, no. Counting out Yoshino, because 6 episodes. So, maybe I'll watch season 2 and let y'all know if it continues. Music? Trash. World building? Trash. But I enjoyed the shit anyway. Date Alive season 1 gets a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Okay, so this being a movie, it's going to be hard to avoid a lot of spoilers, so I'll advise everyone watching this to pause for about 2 hours. Do yourself a favor and watch No Game No Life 0 on Netflix right now. Go on. Pause this bitch. Watch that bitch. See my waifu in action. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds. Man, you know what? I lost count. That 10 seconds is over now. You had your chance. Taking place way before the events of No Game No Life, the 12 episodes with absolutely no valid ending. No Game No Life 0 gives you about 1 million more questions before answering them in the same space. Watching this movie is a whole experience from beginning to end, ranging from somber storytelling to fantastical battles with robots and demons. Ancient Discord houses a small colony of humans, specifically Riku, a man desperate to survive this chaotic world ravaged by war by the Exceed. 16 sentient species fighting to become the one true god. Humans, being weak and non-magical creatures, are an easy target for the Exceed, forcing them on the brink of extinction. Eventually, Riku becomes a beacon of hope for the human colonies as he's approached by a female ex machina robot who really wants to fuck, named Shuvi, in some abandoned elf city. Exiled from her shared consciousness cluster due to a constant need to know more about human emotions, Shuvi is convinced that humanity has survived to this point purely due to these human emotions, which drives her to want to know more about the human heart. Forming a partnership with one another, Riku and Shuvi fight the world against all odds to discover what it truly means to be human. Creating allies and acquiring as much information as possible, our team aims to stop the extinction of the human race and bring peace to Disboard. Who's with me? Y'all with me? Because I'm gonna say it. This movie fucking slaps. Honestly, what more can I say, really? Every time I see this movie, I notice something that I didn't see before, I didn't notice before, and even then, there's always something that you wouldn't have noticed even if you didn't see it the first time. The scenery is phenomenal, creating these vast structures, monuments and artifacts all made so intricately. Magic in this world is so brilliant, so much so that it's banned. No magic. Nuh-uh. You want a magic? Go somewhere else. Watch Harry Potter. This world is built in such a way that any magic used on Earth is going to get snooped out by the Flugels, a divine race of death angels, whose primary goal is to be the only magic users on Earth for the time being. We don't get to see the Flugels in action for a vast majority of the film, actually. But when we do get to see him, well, let's just say Jabril is there. No bullshit. Jabril from No Game No Life the series is there, and she's a fucking menace. I did say there'd be spoilers, and that's the first one. The movie initially houses a small handful of characters, but has a very interesting character design for the main duo, being a tall man and a lolly girl, but this man has grey hair and the girl has purple. So I suppose the biggest thing you didn't notice is that this is an absolute palette swap of the main duo from No Game No Life. I didn't have to point that out, but I did, for you. I want to put on full notice on the fact that both main characters have a final awakening, both a personal final awakening and a physical awakening. Riku gains the resolve needed to tackle this messed up game of a world, and Shuvi fucking all out transforms into a fucking unit of a waifu with final boss level attacks that make actual final bosses look like child's play. Which reminds me, on the subject of final bosses, this movie has like 2, technically like 18? Shuvi has a whole final battle against the Flugel that we all know and love, Jabril, and wins the award for the best fight I've ever seen in an anime ever. Riku, on the other hand, fights fucking God in this climactic battle of metaphysical chess, where the masterminds are using people and gods as pawns against the idea that there could be a one true God. Who's the masterminds? Who cares? The show has absolutely minimal plot, but I suppose titty does exist somewhere in this within characters such as Jabril. And I've just written insert characters here, so I guess there wasn't really much to add in post. I tried to rate this a 10 out of 10, and as hard as possible, and but this movie has absolutely no beach scene, arc, personal scenery, nothing. But what this movie does have is absolutely heart-wrenching moments revolving Riku and Shuvi as they battle against the meaning behind human heart and itself, and God itself even. Moments so damn heart-wrenching that I damn cried too many times watching this shit. I've watched this shit too many times and I cried at the same scene every time. But at the same time, I was also at the absolute edge of my seat in sheer jaw-dropping awe at the sceneries, fight sequences, dialogue choices, even the voice acting. Comedy slithers its way into the script in very appropriate places to such an expert precision that it just enhances the relationship relationship between the characters. Meta humour about Shuvi being Riku's little sister, but also wanting to ride the dick, is a very smart gag at Sora and Shiro being honestly too close as actual step-siblings, which I really appreciated the professional attention to, which brings me to the ultimate question. Is this worth watching? And I'm gonna point it towards yes, because I told you to do that like 5 minutes ago and your dumbass fucking ignored me. So, this movie is a fucking banger, with robot fights, incest humour, dragons, angels, titties, but not too much titties, mind you. And then on top of every damn thing they could have put into this movie, they also put in a beautiful ass soundtrack, glistening with fucking strings, horns, boss battle music, resolution soundtracks, and overall just an OST that'll make you actually fucking believe in yourself. So with this, I'm gonna give No Game No Life a 9 out of 10. Well, we made it. It's been a long time, but we got it all running once again. The ball is rolling, the buns are cooking, the waifus are... well, they be shopping. What was your favourite part of the podcast? Wow. Really? Is that correct? Yeah. My favourite part was... well, I mean, that was my favourite part too. Actually, that's a lie. My favourite part was when I talked about making out with aliens for honestly too long. And now it's time to bring back my favourite segment, the Waifu Corner. In corner number 1, we have Uzoi, the harpy from Somali and the forest spirit. Corner number 2 houses our girl Origami from Date Alive. And corner number 3 has put babe Shuvi from No Game No Life 0. Place your votes by texting the screen, texting the number on the screen with your choice below. I can wait. The votes are tallied up, and the winner is Shuvi from No Game No Life 0, standing as the one waifu that can protect you, or she can fucking kill you. With that under our belt, I'm calling it here. My name has been Weeaboo Jimothy, and you've been tuned into the one, the only, Weeaboo Corner. And now, I know these hoes know what comes next. And now, get the hell out of my corner.
She's the baker, turning on the
Bye.
TV, nigga, just a data. Real life hoes, just don't do it better. My girl's bad in 2D, nigga, did I mention? So of course you'll never know her, cause she's in another dimension. And I'm never into stressing, cause I always got the plug, she's a sparkle electric. Hours of my lows, till I found some anime hoes on my screen. Busting out the Vaseline, nigga, I'm a beat till my meat's looking weak. Then I found the one I wanna take home, so I'm on the internet trying to fuck. Not talking about the real world, talking about my best girl, trying to take a nap on them anime thighs. Nigga, and them titty triple D's, they be hitting quite right. Got a lux that hide in the scrapers of the sky. When I'm looking for a titty I can suck, I ain't that slick, so I'm standing in the road and I'm trying to get hit with the Isekai truck. Bam, bam, now I'm chilling with the ladies. Which hoe trying to date me? I'm with the plot and I'm never going back without a fight. If you trying to throw hands, nigga, picked a good time, cause I die for my waifu. Take it to the grave when I'm out, better throw me with the trash. Nigga, do the math, your waifu is sucker. I don't even lie, cause I got a couple notes that I saved. Useless, my girl has proof that she's sick. Your girl look like she got beat with a stick. My bitch is Riaz and your hoe is someone from Boku no Pico. Now fuck out my bit. Shorty looking flat like paper. She got them buns, she's the baker. Turning on the TV, nigga, just to date her. Real life hoes just don't do it better. My girl bad in 2D, nigga, did I mention? So of course you'll never know her, cause she's in another dimension. And I'm never into stressing cause